Have you ever felt like you're constantly being tested, like every word, every gesture is a hidden challenge to your calm and strength? Sometimes it might seem as if every conversation carries a secret test, and you wonder if there's more behind those moments than meets the eye. Today, we're talking about one of those scenarios that many men experience without even realizing it, when a woman's actions are designed to see if you can maintain your composure under pressure. Our topic is clear. She's testing you, how a stoic man outsmarts manipulative women. This isn't about playing mind games or getting entangled in drama. It's about understanding the subtle signals and choosing to respond with dignity and self-respect. Picture this: you're having a conversation and something is said that feels like a quiet provocation. Instead of reacting immediately, you pause, you take a deep breath, and you choose your words carefully. It might seem like a small moment, but it takes real strength to hold back those immediate impulses and to show that your inner resolve is unshakable. A man who follows a stoic approach doesn't let fleeting emotions dictate his actions, even when it appears that someone is trying to trigger a reaction. He sees these moments as chances to affirm his self-control and to stand by his principles. Before we continue, if you enjoy this conversation and find these insights helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. This small gesture helps our community grow and supports the sharing of wisdom on living with purpose and strength. Now imagine those times when you felt cornered or pressured, when the urge to react was overwhelming. What if you could transform those challenges into opportunities for growth? What if every test you encountered became a stepping stone toward greater confidence and calm? Today, we're here to unpack that very idea. We're going to uncover the reasons behind these tests and reveal how adopting a stoic mindset can turn what might feel like an attack into a moment of self-affirmation. This conversation isn't merely about managing difficult interactions. It's about rising above them with a steady heart and a clear mind. Every test, every challenge is an opportunity to show that your strength isn't measured by a fleeting reaction, but by your ability to remain composed, no matter what. All right, let's get to the heart of this matter. Why do these tests happen in the first place? Have you ever wondered why, in some conversations, it feels like there's an unspoken challenge waiting to be met? It might seem as if these moments are designed solely to unsettle you, but there's more behind them than simple mischief. In reality, these tests are about assessing qualities that truly matter in a relationship. Qualities like emotional resilience, calmness, and the ability to remain composed when things get a little rough. Now consider this. When a woman tests you, she isn't necessarily trying to create drama or cause conflict. Instead, it's her way of gauging whether you have the inner strength to handle life's ups and downs with grace. Think about the kind of partner you'd want by your side. A person who remains steady even in challenging times, who doesn't let fleeting emotions control his actions. That's exactly the kind of strength these tests are trying to uncover. Imagine a situation where a minor disagreement arises, one that could easily be blown out of proportion. Picture a man who immediately feels the need to defend every word he speaks, whose voice starts to rise as emotions take over. Such a reaction doesn't just escalate the conflict, it also sends a clear message about his inability to manage his feelings under pressure. On the other hand, think of a man who pauses for just a moment, takes a deep breath, and then responds with thoughtful calmness. That brief pause, that moment of reflection, shows a remarkable level of self-control and inner strength. It's important to understand that these tests aren't calculated or malicious. They're a natural reflection of our instincts. When someone makes a comment that feels a bit off or throws a bit of sarcasm your way, it can be seen as a way of checking if you'll react impulsively or maintain your cool. It's almost as if there's an unspoken question being asked: can you handle a little push without losing your balance? And the answer you give, through your calm response speaks volumes about your character. There's also a deeper, almost biological aspect to this. Many times, these tests arise from a basic human desire for security. In seeking a partner, a person naturally looks for someone who not only shares similar values, but can also stand firm in the face of adversity. It's less about control and more about finding reassurance, both for herself and for the relationship. When you choose to respond with composure, you're not only showing that you're secure in yourself, but you're also helping the other person feel more at ease. Now let's put ourselves in a real-life scenario. Imagine you're in the middle of an important conversation and suddenly someone makes a remark that seems designed to undermine your viewpoint. A quick, defensive reaction might escalate the situation into an argument. But if you take that split second to pause, to really consider the intention behind the comment, you might find that it wasn't really about attacking you at all. Instead, it was a way for the other person to see if you'd remain steady under pressure. In that moment, the choice is yours. You can either let your emotions take over and let the situation spiral out of control, or you can hold your ground and respond in a way that reinforces your inner stability. And when you choose the latter, you not only protect your own peace of mind, but you also demonstrate a quiet confidence that is truly admirable. It's also worth noting that these tests often come from a place of personal vulnerability. Sometimes, the person testing you is themselves in need of reassurance. They're trying to see if you can offer the strength they desire. By responding calmly, you might be helping them find that security, all while affirming your own resilience. So the main takeaway here is that these moments, as challenging as they may appear, are really opportunities in disguise. Every test is a chance to showcase your ability to remain composed, to let your actions speak louder than any heated words. With each thoughtful response, you're not only reinforcing your own self-worth, but you're also setting a standard of strength and calm that speaks for itself. Remember, the goal isn't to suppress your emotions entirely, but to choose how you express them wisely. When you allow yourself that moment of reflection before reacting, you're making a powerful statement about who you are and what you stand for. And that, ultimately, is the essence of true inner strength. All right, now let's talk about the 5 common tests you might encounter. Have you ever felt like during a conversation, subtle challenges arise? Little moments that seem designed to test your calm and resolve? Sometimes, it's almost as if there's an unspoken agenda to see if you can maintain your composure under pressure. Today, we're going to discuss 5 such tests and explore how a man with steady principles can handle each one gracefully. Imagine you're in the middle of a chat and suddenly someone makes a sarcastic remark or interrupts you in a way that feels dismissive. This is what many consider the disrespect test. When faced with that kind of comment, the knee-jerk reaction for some might be to defend themselves immediately or to fire back with an insult. But think about it. If you take a deep breath, acknowledge the remark without letting it disrupt your inner calm, you send a powerful message. Your quiet, firm response tells everyone that you value respect and will not tolerate behavior that undermines that. It's not about proving a point in a heated exchange. It's about showing that your worth isn't shaken by momentary lapses in courtesy. Now let's consider another scenario. Picture yourself in a relaxed conversation, and out of the blue, someone casually brings up an ex or flirts with another person right in front of you. This situation is often known as the jealousy test. Naturally, many might feel a surge of jealousy or a need to assert themselves more forcefully. However, a man who remains centered knows that his value doesn't depend on another person's past or on fleeting attention from someone else. Instead of reacting with insecurity, he chooses a calm indifference. This composed reaction reflects that his self-assurance comes from within, rather than from external validation. In this way, he shows that his confidence is solid and not easily disrupted by the mention of past relationships or casual flirtation. Next, Imagine a situation where affection and attention seem to ebb and flow unpredictably, what some call the hot and cold game. One moment, you're enjoying warm engagement. The next, the atmosphere turns distant. This inconsistency can be confusing and may tempt you to chase after that initial spark. But a man who knows his own value stays focused on his path. Rather than being pulled into the emotional ups and downs, he remains steady, trusting that his own inner light is enough. By not reacting impulsively to this roller coaster of attention, he shows that his sense of self isn't defined by someone else's changing moods. Instead, he maintains his composure, confident that true connection isn't measured by constant affirmation. Then there's a more subtle challenge, one that centers on control. Sometimes you might find that someone is trying to influence your choices, whether it's suggesting what to wear, who to spend time with, or even how to spend your free time. This, often referred to as the control test, is less about genuine concern and more about seeing if you'll let someone else dictate your life. A man with a firm sense of identity doesn't allow external pressures to steer his decisions. Instead, he calmly asserts his boundaries, expressing his preferences clearly and without confrontation. By doing so, he preserves his individuality and demonstrates that his decisions are rooted in personal values, not in the need to please someone else. Finally, consider the ultimatum test. This is when someone lays down conditions like, "If you really care about me, you'll do this," or "Prove your love by making this sacrifice." These moments are designed to put you in a tough spot, forcing you to choose between compromising your values or standing by them. A man who is confident in his principles knows that love and respect aren't things that can be bargained for. Instead of bending under pressure, he responds with thoughtful decisiveness. His actions remain true to his beliefs, and he shows that his commitment isn't conditional on meeting someone else's demands. This way of responding not only reinforces his own integrity, but also establishes a foundation for relationships based on mutual respect. Throughout each of these encounters, whether it's a subtle jab of disrespect, a moment designed to provoke jealousy, an unpredictable shift in attention, attempts at control, or an outright ultimatum, the central theme remains the same. Every test is an opportunity for you to demonstrate your inner strength and resilience. It's a chance to show that your worth isn't measured by a snap reaction, but by your ability to remain calm, deliberate, and true to who you are. Take a moment to reflect on these scenarios. Have you ever found yourself reacting impulsively in a situation that later made you wish you'd taken a breath first? Each time you choose calm over chaos, you're not only preserving your peace of mind, but also setting a powerful example of strength and dignity. Remember, these tests aren't meant to diminish you. They're opportunities to affirm your inner balance. With each thoughtful response, you reinforce your self-respect and create a lasting impression of genuine strength. So next time you encounter one of these challenges, see it as a moment to prove that your calm and composure are unshakable, regardless of the situation at hand. All right, let's talk about building a stoic mindset, how to remain unshaken in the face of life's challenges. Have you ever found yourself caught in the middle of a heated moment, feeling that surge of emotion bubbling up, only to wish you could simply press pause and respond calmly? Today, we're going to explore a way of thinking that empowers you to do just that. It's about mastering your inner world so that no matter what comes your way, you remain clear, composed, and in control. Let's begin with an essential principle that forms the foundation of this mindset. Step 1. Detachment from emotional reactions. When emotions start to take over, they can cloud your judgment and lead to responses that you might later regret. Imagine someone throws a harsh remark your way, a cutting comment perhaps, or a sudden criticism. The natural impulse is to react immediately, to defend yourself, or to fire back. But a calm and measured response can speak much louder than an impulsive retort. Instead of getting swept up by your emotions, try to step back and observe how you're feeling. Think of it like this. Emotions are like the weather. They can be intense and unpredictable, but they pass. The key is not to let a storm define the landscape of your mind. When you pause to acknowledge what you're feeling without immediately reacting, you create a space for clarity. That brief moment of reflection can be the difference between a response driven by impulse and one guided by reason. It's not about suppressing what you feel, but about choosing a response that reflects your inner strength and wisdom. Picture a scenario where someone insults you. Instead of reacting with anger, you take a deep breath, let the comment wash over you, and then choose to respond, or even not respond at all, in a way that maintains your dignity. This is not about indifference. It's about recognizing that your worth is not determined by the words of others. It's a deliberate choice to let your inner calm prevail. This process of detachment isn't something that happens overnight. It's a practice, a skill that you develop over time through self-awareness and repeated reflection. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to maintain that distance from immediate emotional responses, even in challenging situations. Now, let's move on to another critical aspect of a Stoic mindset. Step 2. Focus on what you can control. There's a famous saying that goes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Think about that for a moment. So often we expend energy worrying about things beyond our control, what others think, unexpected circumstances, or events that simply cannot be changed. Instead, imagine channeling all that energy into the things you can influence, your thoughts, your actions, your responses. When you focus on what you can control, you find clarity in the midst of chaos. It's like turning your attention inward, where your true strength lies. Consider the idea that while you cannot control every comment thrown your way or every twist of fate, you can control how you choose to react. This shift in perspective is incredibly liberating. It means that even when the world around you is unpredictable, your inner state can remain stable and resilient. For instance, if a situation arises that feels overwhelming or unfair, rather than getting entangled in frustration or anger, take a moment to assess what aspects of the situation you can actually influence. Is it your attitude? Is it your decision on how to respond? By narrowing your focus to these elements, you reclaim a sense of power that might otherwise feel lost in the chaos. This approach isn't about ignoring reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about accepting them and then choosing to concentrate on the parts that are within your sphere of influence. In doing so, you cultivate an inner strength that remains unshaken, no matter what happens around you. When you consistently remind yourself of this truth, you begin to notice a shift. The weight of external pressures becomes lighter because you're no longer burdened by them. Instead, you invest your energy in making positive changes where you can, and that makes all the difference. Now there's one more crucial habit to build that ties all these ideas together. Step 3. Daily reflection. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect on what happened. Ask yourself, how did I respond to the challenges I faced today? Did I let my emotions take over, or was I able to maintain a sense of calm and control? This simple practice of self-reflection is powerful. It helps you learn from every experience and reinforces the idea that each moment is an opportunity to grow stronger. Reflection isn't about beating yourself up over mistakes. It's about understanding your reactions and recognizing where you can improve. It's a time to acknowledge your successes, those moments when you remained composed in the face of provocation, and to gently learn from the times when you didn't. By making daily reflection a habit, you build a mental record of your progress, which serves as both motivation and a guide for future challenges. Think of it as having a personal debrief at the end of each day, where you celebrate your victories and plan for better responses next time. This ongoing process not only helps you develop a stronger, more resilient mindset, but also builds a deeper understanding of yourself. It's a practice that nurtures self-awareness, and in doing so, it fortifies your ability to remain unshaken no matter what life throws your way. Imagine looking back after weeks or months and noticing the subtle changes, a calmer demeanor, a more measured response, an inner strength that wasn't there before. That's the result of consistent practice. Over time, these small steps add up, and you find that the storms of emotion become easier to weather, that your inner calm becomes your default state. By embracing these principles, detachment from emotional reactions, focusing on what you can control, and practicing daily reflection, you're not only preparing yourself to handle life's challenges, but also setting an example for others. Your ability to remain composed becomes a quiet beacon of strength, showing that true power lies in mastering your inner self rather than reacting to every external trigger. As you continue on this journey, remember that each moment is a chance to practice. Whether it's a minor irritation or a major challenge, each instance offers an opportunity to reinforce your commitment to staying centered. And with time, you'll notice that your reactions become more measured, your thoughts clearer, and your inner resolve unbreakable. Imagine a day when, faced with unexpected criticism or a sudden upset, you simply pause, assess the situation calmly, and respond with a clarity that surprises even you. That is the power of a well-cultivated Stoic mindset. It's not about denying your emotions or pretending everything is fine. It's about acknowledging the full spectrum of your feelings and then choosing a response that aligns with your values and inner strength. The beauty of this approach is that it transforms every challenge into an opportunity. Instead of seeing a heated moment as a setback, you begin to view it as a stepping stone toward greater resilience. Every time you choose to respond with calm rather than chaos, you are reinforcing your inner fortress, a place where true strength resides. In moments of tension, remind yourself that you hold the power to choose your response. You don't have to be a slave to impulsive reactions. Instead, you can harness the power of reflection, determination, and thoughtful decision-making to rise above the immediate turmoil. Each instance where you practice this choice adds another layer to your inner strength, building a robust foundation that can weather any storm. Let this be a reminder that the journey toward a steady, resilient mindset is a continuous one. Every day offers new chances to practice, to learn, and to grow. And while the path may sometimes be challenging, the rewards are profound. The ability to remain unshaken in the face of adversity isn't just a personal victory, it's a way of living that radiates confidence, integrity, and quiet power. So as you move forward, carry these principles with you. Embrace the idea that your true strength lies in your ability to remain calm, to focus on what you can change, and to reflect on your experiences with honesty and compassion. This is not merely a strategy for managing difficult moments. It's a way of living that enriches every aspect of your life, from your relationships to your personal growth. And remember, every step you take toward mastering these techniques is a step toward a more fulfilled, balanced life. With each thoughtful pause and every calm response, you are building a legacy of resilience that will serve you well, no matter what challenges come your way. Keep these thoughts close as you go about your day, and allow the calm you cultivate to guide you through both the ordinary and the extraordinary moments. This is your journey, and with each deliberate, measured response, you are writing a story of inner strength and unwavering self-respect. All right, now let's talk about the art of setting boundaries without drama. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the constant pressure of others' expectations? As if your personal space is being slowly eroded by demands and criticisms. There comes a point when you realize that setting clear boundaries isn't about shutting people out. It's about preserving your own peace and ensuring mutual respect. Imagine this: you're in the middle of a conversation and someone crosses a line by making a comment that you know isn't acceptable to you. Instead of reacting immediately with anger or retreating silently, you pause for a moment, gather your thoughts, and then respond in a way that clearly communicates your limits. This small act of setting a boundary can be a turning point. It's like saying, "I value myself enough to insist on respect," without creating unnecessary conflict. The key here is to keep your tone calm and your words clear. When you address an issue, try saying something like, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. Let's talk when we can both be respectful." Notice how that statement isn't an attack. It's a firm declaration of your expectations. It's not about controlling the other person's behavior, but rather about making sure that your own standards are maintained. You see, boundaries are fundamentally about self-respect. When you allow others to overstep your limits, you send a signal that it's okay for your feelings or your space to be disregarded. On the other hand, when you assertively yet calmly express your boundaries, you remind everyone involved that respect is non-negotiable. Consider a situation where you're repeatedly asked to do something that drains you. Maybe it's an endless series of favors or constant interruptions during your work time. Instead of giving in out of a desire to please, imagine if you could say, "I understand you need help, but I need to focus on my work right now. Let's schedule a time later." By setting such a boundary, you're not refusing help altogether. You're simply prioritizing your well-being and ensuring that your energy is used wisely. Now, setting boundaries isn't always easy. It can feel like you're risking a confrontation or worse, upsetting someone you care about. But the truth is, healthy relationships thrive on mutual understanding and respect. When you set your boundaries clearly, you give others the opportunity to understand your needs and to adjust their behavior accordingly. In fact, this often leads to stronger connections because it removes ambiguity from your interactions. It's also important to be consistent with your boundaries. If you allow someone to cross the line occasionally, it may signal that your limits are flexible, and that can lead to further overstepping. Consistency doesn't mean you have to be rigid or unyielding, but it does mean that when you've expressed your expectations, you stick to them. Over time, this consistency builds trust and reinforces the respect that forms the foundation of any healthy relationship. Imagine a friend who frequently makes jokes at your expense, thinking it's all in good fun. The first time you address it, you might say, "I know you're joking, but those comments hurt my feelings. Can we avoid them?" If the behavior continues, gently remind them of your previous conversation. By consistently reinforcing your boundary, you not only protect your feelings, but also help your friend understand what's acceptable and what isn't. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is knowing when to step back. Sometimes, despite your best efforts to communicate clearly, someone might still persist in overstepping your limits. In such cases, it might be necessary to distance yourself, at least temporarily. This isn't about punishing the other person, it's about taking care of yourself and maintaining your inner calm. When you choose to step back, you're sending a powerful message. You're in control of your own life, and you're not willing to compromise your peace for the sake of appeasing others. It's a bold reminder that your well-being is paramount, and often this act of self-care encourages others to respect your space, knowing that your boundaries are firm and non-negotiable. As you practice setting boundaries, remember that it's a journey of self-discovery and growth. Each time you speak up for yourself, you're reinforcing your self-worth and teaching those around you how to treat you. It might feel challenging at first, but with each respectful, calm interaction, you build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. So next time you're faced with a situation that tests your limits, take a deep breath and remember that setting a boundary is not an act of confrontation. It's an act of self-love. By calmly stating what you need and expect, you're not only protecting your own space, but also inviting healthier, more respectful interactions into your life. Keep this in mind. Boundaries are the silent agreements that ensure your energy is valued, your emotions are respected, and your peace of mind is maintained. Every time you assert these boundaries, you are making a choice to live a life that honors who you are without compromise. And in doing so, you create an environment where respect and understanding can flourish, both for you and for those around you. All right, now let's discuss why walking away is such a powerful move. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where the only option to preserve your peace was to simply walk away? There are times when conversations or interactions become so charged that staying becomes more damaging than leaving. Choosing to walk away isn't about giving up, it's about standing up for your self-respect and protecting your inner calm. Imagine you're in the middle of a heated exchange, feeling the tension rise with every passing moment. Despite your best efforts to maintain composure, the situation starts to erode your sense of well-being. In that critical moment, the decision to step away is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it's a clear signal that you value yourself too much to allow negativity to take over. When you walk away, you're saying, "I deserve better than this." It takes real courage to leave a situation, even one that might feel familiar, when you know that staying will only drain you further. It's like choosing to protect a flame of dignity rather than letting the winds of chaos snuff it out. This choice is a reminder that your energy is precious and you have every right to safeguard it. Consider a scenario where someone repeatedly disrespects your boundaries or manipulates you into a pattern of behavior that leaves you feeling undervalued. Initially, you might try to address the issue, hoping that calm conversation will lead to change. But when those efforts fall flat and the cycle continues, walking away becomes not only an option, but a necessity. By stepping away, you reinforce the idea that you will not settle for less than the respect you deserve. Walking away is a declaration of independence. It's about reclaiming control over your own life. When you choose to leave, you send a powerful message to yourself and others that you are in charge of your well-being and you will not allow toxic behavior to dictate your emotional state. This act isn't about punishing someone else. It's about prioritizing your inner strength and personal growth. Think about the ripple effect this decision can have. By walking away from a harmful situation, you open the door to new opportunities, new connections, environments, and experiences that align more closely with your values. It's a chance to reset, to reflect, and to embrace a path that truly honors who you are. Sometimes, stepping back allows both parties a moment to consider what needs to change. In other cases, it becomes clear that moving on is the best path forward for everyone involved. There may be moments when the idea of walking away feels daunting, when the familiarity of conflict or the fear of uncertainty holds you back. But remember, every time you choose to leave an unhealthy situation, you're investing in your future. You're saying that your peace of mind and self-respect are non-negotiable. That decision can empower you to seek out environments where respect, understanding, and genuine connection flourish. Have you ever noticed how the courage to walk away can inspire others as well? When you stand firm in your decision to prioritize yourself, it not only strengthens your own character, but also sets an example for those around you. Your actions remind others that it's okay to choose personal well-being over temporary comfort, even if that means stepping away from familiar patterns. So, when you face a moment where the only outcome seems to be more frustration or a compromise of your values, consider this: walking away isn't an act of defeat, it's an act of empowerment. It's a decision rooted in the understanding that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are worth far more than any conflict that threatens them. Take that step confidently, knowing that each time you choose to walk away from what no longer serves you, you are paving the way for a life filled with respect, peace, and authentic connections. This is your moment to reclaim your power, to define your boundaries, and to step into a future where your inner strength guides you through every challenge. Remember, walking away is not the end. It's a new beginning, a fresh chapter where your self-worth takes center stage. Embrace it as the powerful move it truly is. All right, now let's talk about the power of mystery, how to stay in control. Have you ever noticed that sometimes saying less can speak volumes? When you reveal only what's necessary and keep a part of yourself guarded, you create an aura of intrigue. This isn't about playing games or being secretive for its own sake. It's about maintaining control over your narrative and your energy. Think of it this way. When you let your actions speak for you, you naturally draw others in because they sense there's more beneath the surface. Imagine you're in a conversation, and instead of explaining every detail or giving away your true thoughts, you choose to share only what matters. It's like offering a glimpse rather than a full portrait. When you keep some things unsaid, you're not only protecting your inner world, but also inviting curiosity. That curiosity, in turn, creates respect and a subtle allure around you. Consider a moment when someone asks about your plans for the future. Rather than outlining every single detail, you might simply say, "I have some exciting ideas in the works." That response, brief as it is, leaves room for imagination. It tells people you're confident and that your plans are something to look forward to, without feeling the need to explain every little aspect. By doing so, you keep the focus on your ability to control your story, rather than on unnecessary details that might dilute your presence. There's a certain strength in not being entirely predictable. When you're too forthcoming, it can sometimes come off as a plea for validation. But when you hold back, even just a little, you send a clear message. Your worth isn't up for negotiation, and your mystery is part of your power. It's about having that quiet assurance that you're comfortable with who you are, and you don't need to broadcast every part of yourself to gain approval. Think back to a time when someone was overly familiar or revealed too much about themselves right away. Often, that can feel overwhelming or even a bit off-putting. In contrast, a person who maintains a bit of mystery keeps you guessing in the best possible way. Their reserved nature can make every interaction feel like an unfolding story, a story that's far more engaging than one where every chapter is laid out from the start. This isn't about building walls around yourself, it's about curating what you share so that you remain in control of your personal space and energy. When you hold back on details, you're essentially setting a standard for interactions. It shows that you value thoughtful communication and that you're not desperate for constant affirmation. This approach not only keeps you centered, but also naturally attracts those who appreciate depth and authenticity. Imagine a scenario where you're at a social gathering. Instead of divulging every detail about your personal life, you share insights in measured doses. People begin to notice that your words are deliberate and that you choose what to reveal with care. That measured approach makes your presence memorable. It tells others that while you're open and genuine, you also cherish your independence and personal space. This balance of openness and reserve builds an air of confidence that is both intriguing and reassuring. Moreover, maintaining a sense of mystery can be incredibly empowering in moments of conflict or tension. When emotions run high and there's a temptation to react impulsively, holding back information or choosing silence over unnecessary commentary can be a powerful tactic. It shifts the dynamic from a reactive stance to one of control. Instead of being drawn into every emotional current, you remain anchored, focused on what truly matters. In practice, cultivating mystery means being mindful of what you share and when you share it. It's about recognizing that not every moment requires a full disclosure of your thoughts. Sometimes, a well-timed pause or a brief, thoughtful response can be far more impactful than an elaborate explanation. This strategy not only preserves your energy, but also ensures that every word you do share carries weight and meaning. Think of it as crafting your personal brand, one that values discretion, confidence, and measured communication. Over time, this approach will not only enhance your relationships, but also build a reputation of calm authority. People will come to admire your ability to remain composed and your knack for letting your actions speak louder than words. So the next time you're in a situation where you feel the urge to over-explain or to reveal too much, remember that sometimes less really is more. Embrace the power of mystery as a tool for staying in control. Allow your quiet confidence and deliberate words to create a space of intrigue and respect around you. In doing so, you not only protect your inner peace, but also make every interaction a testament to your self-assured strength. All right, now let's talk about the final test, handling rejection like a Stoic. Have you ever experienced that moment when someone turns you down and you feel a sharp sting of disappointment? It might be a job offer that never materialized, a friendship that faded away, or even a romantic interest that didn't go as hoped. Rejection can hit hard, but here's the thing, it doesn't have to define you. Imagine this scenario. You share something personal or put yourself out there, and the response is a flat no. In that instant, it's easy to feel small or question your own worth, but a Stoic man sees things differently. Instead of allowing rejection to chip away at his self-respect, he views it as an opportunity, a moment to learn, grow, and reinforce his inner strength. When rejection comes your way, the natural impulse might be to react immediately, perhaps with anger, hurt, or a desperate plea for understanding. However, the Stoic approach is to pause. Take that moment to breathe deeply and remind yourself that one rejection does not determine your value. It's merely a reflection of the situation at hand, not a judgment of who you are. Consider what happens when you choose to step back instead of reacting impulsively. By taking a brief pause, you create space to reflect on the experience. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this moment to build a better understanding of my own strengths and weaknesses? This reflective pause isn't about wallowing in self-pity. It's about gathering insights and moving forward with greater clarity. Think about a time when you felt rejected, and instead of lashing out, you managed to maintain your composure. Perhaps you even thanked the person for their honesty, or simply acknowledged that it wasn't meant to be. That response, quiet and measured, sends a clear message. Your self-worth is not tied to the approval of others. It speaks to a deep-seated confidence that comes from knowing who you are, regardless of the opinions or actions of those around you. A Stoic man understands that rejection is an inevitable part of life, an experience everyone goes through at one time or another. Rather than seeing it as a personal failing, he views rejection as feedback, a guidepost that directs him towards situations and people who are truly aligned with his values. In every no lies the seed of a better yes in the future. When you encounter rejection, try to shift your perspective. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, focus on what you can control, your reaction. Remember, you have the power to choose how you feel about a rejection. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. Each rejection is an opportunity to reinforce your inner resolve, to remind yourself that your worth isn't dependent on external validation. Imagine if every time you faced rejection, you responded with gratitude for the learning experience it offered. Picture yourself saying, "Thank you for your honesty," and then using that moment as a stepping stone to further self-improvement. Over time, you'll find that each rejection becomes less of a blow and more of a building block, adding to your resilience and reinforcing the foundation of your self-respect. It's also worth noting that handling rejection gracefully isn't just beneficial for your own peace of mind, it sets an example for those around you. When others see you respond to rejection with calm and thoughtful reflection, they learn that it's possible to rise above disappointment. Your behavior can inspire others to view setbacks not as endpoints, but as valuable parts of a larger journey toward growth. At its core, The Stoic approach to rejection is about maintaining your integrity and self-worth regardless of external circumstances. It's about understanding that while you can't control the actions or opinions of others, you can always control your response. And when you choose to respond with dignity, you protect your inner peace and create space for new opportunities that are more in line with who you truly are. So, next time rejection comes your way, remember that it's not a final verdict on your worth. Instead, see it as a challenge, a final test of your ability to remain calm, reflective, and true to yourself. Every time you handle rejection with grace, you add another layer to your inner strength, preparing you for even greater successes down the road. Embrace rejection as a part of life's natural ebb and flow, and let each experience shape you into a more resilient, confident individual. With every thoughtful, measured response, you affirm that your self-worth comes from within, and that no external setback can ever diminish the strength of your character. All right, let's wrap things up and reflect on what we've learned. Have you ever stopped to consider how these moments of challenge, whether subtle tests or outright rejection, shape who you are? Today, we've explored how to stand firm and maintain your calm when faced with tests in life. We've seen how keeping your emotions in check, setting clear boundaries, choosing to walk away, and even preserving a sense of mystery can transform difficult interactions into opportunities for growth. Every test you encounter is a chance to reinforce your inner strength and remind yourself that your value comes from within. It's about being true to who you are and not letting external pressures dictate your peace of mind. By taking a step back and choosing a measured response, you not only protect your own well-being, but also inspire those around you to strive for the same calm and resilience. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment where you had to choose calm over chaos? Share your thoughts or stories in the comments below. And if you found these insights helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more discussions on living with purpose and strength. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. Keep that in mind as you move forward.